Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world, and a very warm welcome to the second series of advisory sessions of 2021. This is the actual last advisory session of the second series, and obviously these sessions, as before, focus on delivering and updating you on new features and functionalities in each of the quarterly releases that Oracle provide. My name is Chris Gomez and I'm an account director here at Evosys based out of the UK. I understand that there are some new first-time attendees joining us today. Very warm welcome. It's great to have you join us. And we hope you find these sessions as useful as our many regular attendees who've joined us today too. And for those of you that have joined us again, welcome back. I'm your host today, and I'm delighted to be joined by my colleague, Mallikarjun Nalabolu, who works in our HCM Centre of Excellence team and will be taking us through the workforce management and payroll updates in 21B. Arjun has been with us for 4 years now and works in the HCM payroll team covering the UK region. And he'll be taking us through the hot topics and everything you need to know about the main features of this release. And this session today is planned for 60 minutes. And as always, we'll ensure that we leave sufficient time for questions at the end. And as before, we'll make an extended PowerPoint available to you on completion of this session, and that will cover off all the features that we speak about today, and potentially more if we don't have time to cover all of them. In addition to the PowerPoint, we'll also make the recording available to you as well. So by means of an agenda, we'd like to cover 4 main areas with you today. So firstly, I'll take you through the feature summary template, as I always do as part of these sessions. And then we'll move on to the analysis of the latest release, providing you with an insight into the new available features, as well as highlighting things to consider when you deploy them. And this will also cover known issues that need to be considered. And Arjun will talk to you for about 30 to 40 minutes around all of these features. And after this session, we'll recap. Apologies. After this session, we'll recap on the 3 main technologies that we spoke about in the 21A sessions, before we then focus on today's topic, which will cover analytics. And Arjun will talk us through how the value-based analytics solution we have that's been deployed in a number of our customers helps them with some of the challenges that you and some of your colleagues and your teams may face on a regular basis when it comes to payroll. We'll then look to close the webinar with a Q&A session at the end. So please do ask any questions as we go throughout the webinar in the chat option that you have available to you, and we'll look to cover off as many of those questions that you have for us as we can. So moving on to the first section of the webinar now. Feature summary, how do we read it? So the way we present information regarding each of the features is summarized on the screen in front of you now. And I'm conscious that some of you may have that's attended some of the sessions already in this series may have seen this a number of times now. But for those that, but please bear with me so I can actually educate the ones that are new to us in this session today. So each slide includes the name of the feature with a short description of the release to better inform you and give you a brief on what the feature is for. We also include at the bottom here a business benefits section to help you understand how advantageous it may be to your organization with the outcomes that it could give you. On the right-hand side, you'll see an impact analysis with 4 main areas. So firstly, you've got the impact level. A low would mean no large-scale impact, so regression testing is not really required or can be ignored, and obviously a high is the complete opposite. Does the feature need to be enabled or will it just appear post-upgrade? Configuration. What about configuration? Well, we highlight this too as part of the feature summary. And obviously, anything that does need configuration needs more planning time. And lastly, quick wins. So we provide a quick win gauge, which takes into account the level of effort and time required to get this feature set up. So without further ado, let me introduce to you now Arjun, who's going to take us through what to expect in this 21B release for payroll and workforce management. Over to you, Arjun.
Hello everyone. A very good afternoon, everyone. Okay, let me introduce you with workforce management and the payroll features in coming in 21B upgrade. Let me go through the summary of features. Okay, uh, like this is the overall number of features we are gaining in 21B upgrade from Oracle. Like if you see that we are getting a 20 to 15 upgrades in 21B. By consolidating both workforce management and payroll features. Like in these 15 new features, like 13 are the default features which we are winning from Oracle through the upgrades, and 2 are the opt-in features. And in the 13 default features also, like 11 features are quick win features. When I say quick win feature, these are easily configurable and most beneficial one. Okay, coming to the next slide. Okay, let me introduce to the new features. First one is the quick wins. Like we don't need any configuration. We'll get this by default after 21B upgrade. Coming to the first feature, this feature is on absence recording page. Like normally we'll be having a qualified entitlement summary on absence record page, like where will be having a information of entitlement which employee is entitled to, and to this section, like there are some enhancement done by Oracle. Like we can adjust the number of columns, like we can add a new columns based on our requirement. We can adjust this one. Like this will be applicable only on administrator page through the person management screen. Okay, like this is a quick win from Oracle. Like data is a very beneficial one. There is no configuration needed from our end. Coming to new feature, copy time card enhancement. Like this feature is very beneficial to the regular OTL users, like where we can copy that previous time cards. Like if you want to do the time card entry same as the previous time cards, that we can copy that one, we can do the same thing. Like these time card, it will exclude the public holidays and absence entries which were recorded in previous time card entries, and we need to enter for that one. Like we can copy the remaining time entries to the present week. Like as I said, this is a quick win from Oracle. Like this will be beneficial to the regular OTL user. On coming to there are two the new feature is that changes to the payment statuses. Like Oracle has introduced two new payment statuses to give more clarity on current status of a payment process. Like the first new payment status is that paid and not reconciled, and the second status is reconciled. By this, we can see the latest status, like taken on payments instead of a combined status or a two different status. We can get a by a single status, which can give a more clarity on payment status. And this is also quick win, like there is a no additional configuration needed. This will be delivered by 21B upgrade automatically. These are the benefit to business. And coming to the costing, when some of the retroactive distribution group entries is zero, like normally we are having a issues when we are using a distribution set in the costing, like it will be pushing the amount into the suspense account when the sum of the value is equal to 0. Then this is a feature provided by Oracle, where you can use a payroll process configurator parameter as distributed costing for retro elements, use as the normal element, so that we can avoid this from going it into the suspense account. Like this is also a quick win from Oracle. And coming to the attribute visibility changes to the UK payroll, like this is happening like normally when local and global transfer and mass legal employer changes are happening. Like this is a new feature that we can copy balances to the new employment record by checking an option on the payroll details. On payroll details page, if we are enabling this option, like we can copy all the balance details to the new employment record. Like this is a quick win from Oracle. Like this can reduce our hands-on work by doing some balance loads. And coming to the next feature, global transfer enhancement for predefined deferred compensation balances. Like as discussed previously with the previous feature, like this is also similar one. We have like Oracle has streamlined the global transfer process so that we can copy the balances from the old payroll statutory unit to the new one which employee is moving after a transfer. So balances will be automatically moved from old one to the new entry. Like this makes easy transfer on employee from one PSE to another PSE, one legal, and help in transfers, global transfers as well. And this is a quick win from Oracle. And coming to the quick wins with some minimal configuration needed features. The first one is that classic time card header improvements. Like this is some improvement made on time card page. Like we can view some additional information by expanding the section personal information and time card details, where we can see the personal information and time card details sections are closed, and if we are expanding that one, we can see the additional information inside that one. Like this will be enhanced. This is a good enhancement on time card page, and this needs minimum configuration. We need to enable. We need to do some configuration for this thing, but we can take this as a quick win only from Oracle. Coming to the submit related flows, like nowadays we are coming across the requirement that when we want to submit a flow which be related to the other existing flow, like this is a new feature Oracle has provided. Like this is available on the checklist page. If we can, if you want to submit the additional task within the existing flow, like we can go ahead with this one by giving the following parameters on this thing. Like choosing an LDEG at that point is optional thing only. Like this is definitely a quick win from Oracle, by which we need some configuration effort from our end as well. Coming to the next feature, consolidation group parameter on gross to net summary report. On gross to net summary report, if we want to view this report for particular consolidation group which we are using across our payroll processes, like we have got an additional parameter to choose consolidation group. Like now this report has included the consolidation group parameter, where we can choose our consolidation group which we are using across the payrolls process, so that we can get the gross to net summary report on the for the same data. Like this is a definitely quick win which will help us in payroll processing, and we need minimal configuration on this thing, so that by this feature we can have some more quality information on output which we are generating, and this has enhanced the reporting which we are doing. And coming to the next feature, this is to the UK payroll, like display person number on statutory reports. Till now on the payslip we had, we can display both person number and HMRC payroll ID. But now on the real-time information which we submit to HMRC, from HMRC, P60, P45, P11D, like we can provide person number instead of our HMRC payroll ID. Like we need to enable this. This is a minor configuration. Like it will be helping in a statutory card calculation at PSU for tax reporting. Uh, Coming to the quick wins opt-ins, which we need to enable the setup. Automatic copy of a work schedule assignments during a local and global transfer. So with the current features available, like when we are doing a local or a global transfer, we need to enter a work schedule for the employee. But by this feature, like we can copy the old work schedules which are already attached to employee, like active work schedules and future dated work schedule which are present for old record. We can automatically attach it to new record which is getting created after a local or a global transfer. Like definitely it is going to reduce our manual efforts of adding a work schedule. So we can tell this as a quick win only. With by enabling this feature, we can avail this feature. Coming to the next feature, balance adjustment costing for distributed elements. The Oracle has introduced this to prevent the payroll costing being posted to the suspense account. Normally this is happening when distribution costing, where all the sum of the elements are adding to zero, and these cases are occurring. So to avoid this one, Oracle has enabled this feature. Like we are having this payroll process configuration to control the costing of our distributed element with the use of this option. Like definitely this is a quick win, and we need to enable this one in order to avail this one. Coming to the next coming to the rest feature, these are you cannot tell this as a quick win, because this we need to go through some complex testing, and but let's go through this feature. Like Oracle has introduced two new REST list of values for absence reason and absence plan. Like by this we can by using a plan ID, we can get a plan name, and we can get the vice versa as well. And in the same way we have for absence reason. By using the reason ID, we can get the reason name, and we can get to know the absence reasons are valid for particular absence type or not. Like this has increased efficiency on absence pages by introduction of these two new list of values. These are the rest list of values. Like we need to configure this one, and we need to go through the testing thoroughly in order to make this feature available on production. Coming to the next feature, extract time card enhancements. Like this feature by which we can extract the current as well as previous transfer time entry from the time repository. And And this can be transfer the extracts and time cards to the transfer, and we can modify our new extracts to include SWM, extract time entry pre-evaluation user entity as well. And this is going to improve productivity of time card usage. And this is a not a quick win. Like we need to do some configuration, and we need to test this thoroughly in order to deploy this in production. And coming to the OTBI announcements which are provided, the feature assignment level security on absence subject area, Oracle has provided added a security feature where the person who has appropriate access only can view the data. By default, all the absence information is secured at the person level only. But if we are enable this HCM assignment security, like in order to access any sort of information through the OTBI regarding OTBI subject areas related to absences, like it will be visible to the managers or admin who are having appropriate access to view that one. Like these are the at present Oracle has provided this feature to these three subject areas: workforce management absence real time and absence calendar real time, and workforce management accrual real time, and absence management leave donations real time. Like by this thing we can add a security to our reporting as well, and mm, like overall this has enhanced our reporting through the OTBI. This is a quick win which doesn't need any configuration. And coming to the security enhancements in absence related subject areas, as I was telling that Oracle has improved some security, done some security improvements in absence subject areas. Like where we are, where we are got with new dedicated data security privileges which we can give into the user, so that we can have a control on data which is getting displayed to the user who is doing the reporting. Like these are the three subject areas which Oracle has provided this feature: workforce management absence real time, workforce management absence calendar details real time, workforce management accrual real time. Like there is a one input from Oracle, like after this enabling this feature, if you are not getting any data, like in what any particular in any mentioned in these three subject areas, if you are not getting any data after upgrade, like we need to make sure that the user is having the new data security privileges to our custom rules which we have already. And coming to the next new feature on the OTBI in OTL part, like Oracle has added few time dimensions to the already existing subject area, OTL subject area. Like these are the new to accommodate the additional time dimension information. This has been added to the existing two subject areas: workforce management process time card real time and workforce management time cards real time. Like they definitely this is going to improve by which we can have a more reporting enabled by this feature. Like this is not a quick win. We need to configure this one and thoroughly test this one. Okay. And coming to the known issues, like after 21A upgrade from the previous update, and long-standing issues, like there are some known issues from Oracle. Like Oracle has given confirmation that these are the known issues, and which Oracle is already working to provide the permanent solution. Like for a meantime, to support our businesses, like Oracle has provided workarounds for each recognized and known issue which Oracle is working on this thing. Coming to the first known issue, absence OTBA subject area hide certain absences for multiple assignments employee. Uh, like uh, Oracle has provided a temporary workaround for this thing, like to prevent the discrepancy on OTBI. Employee needs to avoid creating a person level absences in advanced mode if they intend to charge only one assignment. Like this is the Oracle references which we got from Oracle. And coming to the next known issue, incorrect warning message appears during a duplicate bank key entry. We are having a issue, we are getting a warning message like which is incorrect during duplicate bank account entry. So there is a there is a no worker as of now. There is a no workaround for this thing. Like Oracle is working on a solution for this thing through the this particular reference number. Submit related flow with errors or correction. Like this is the issue when flow status is an error, like critical errors or stopped with some correction. Uh, like user should not be able to submit the related flow. However, it stands that action is available, which is not operated. It was not supposed for the user to resubmit that to on the related flow, but it is allowing the user to submit that one. This is an inappropriate thing. Like temporary workaround is that Oracle has recommended users to not submit related flow that is error dot corrected to avoid future more impacts. And this issue is tracked by this Oracle reference number. And coming to the next known issue by Oracle is that not able to create events using cost allocation DO. And the costing, like as of now, during the cost allocation, Oracle stated that proration and retrospective processing was never supported in all other costing levels, such as a payroll level costing and department level, job position and eligibility element eligibility level. At this time, there is a no workaround for us, and Oracle is working on this issue to provide a solution. And coming to the next known issue, payroll global transfer business objects usability in autocomplete. Like is that payroll global transfer business object displays attributes that should be hidden. Like this should be hidden, but it is displaying. Like what Oracle has suggested is that for a meantime, it has recommended users to not use a business object until fix is provided. Until fix to provide hide the attributes to be delivered. Okay, and coming to the next issue, HCM calendars cannot display overlapping resource exceptions. Like this is when we are assigning the multiple or overlapping resource exception to an employee at a same level, we are this is currently showed on HCM calendar pages. So like Oracle has working on this issue by this Oracle reference number. Time and labor only views direct reports on responsive view time cards. Like this is when we are enabling this responsive pages for time and labor, view time cards, quick action for time and labor managers opens the responsive pages. So there is a data security on which Oracle is working on this thing. The workaround given by Oracle is that data security for responsive view time cards will be fixed and later released to match the security for the roles used for access the page. Like we have this Oracle reference number. Okay, and coming to the next issue, individuals can view all their responsive time cards. Okay, now like individuals are able to view their time cards and responsive pages irrespective of the days before and days after setting in their time profile. Uh, this is an issue raised to Oracle, and Oracle is working on this thing on this Oracle reference number and data loader. And in HDL related tasks such as initiate data loader process are currently not returning all the HDL process results data on results detail page. Uh, like we are seeing a limited results data when we try to view the HDL process results from page. So Oracle is working on this to provide some update on this thing. And the task iteration status, like use the task iteration page to review flow instances of submit another task flow iterations. We are currently experiencing some issues whereby the status of task iteration in new task iteration pages are not accurate. So Oracle is working to fix this one. Like this is tracked via this Oracle reference number. And the second next thing is that automatic element entries issue when using a worker HCM data loader. Like automatic is that automatic entries are not always created when a employee is hired using a worker in a HCM data loader. The issue occurs when worker record is loaded with a multiple historical dates. What happens is that automatic entries are created for the first worker record loaded in the file, but not a subsequent records. It is not getting loaded. So Oracle is working on this issue on this reference number. Like these are the features which Oracle has removed to improve or enhance our usage. Like removal of a workday definition rules. Known that like this is something like known that earned payday spanning rules were removed as of update 20B days with the most hour and scheduled shift reference days. So like business impact we are having after this removal of this feature is that it has increased productivity by removing these unused roles like which are not used from the definition. And coming to the next feature which was removed by Oracle is that enhancement of start date rule. The start date rule was improved for the people who have a 24-hour schedule that helps determine the earn date if they report to the work late. Uh, this rule now determines the earn date using so sorry for the inconvenience. And coming to the next feature, removed payroll dashboards in the OTBI catalog. Like Oracle has removed this one in order to increase the reporting. It enhance that one. Chris, can you take a control to the next steps, Chris?
Thank you so much, Arjun, for taking us through all those all those features. Hopefully you all found that useful. What we're going to do now is we're going to just go through and recap on what we discussed in the last webinar about how technologies can help not only facilitating the release cycle. Apologies, there seems to be some technical issue with the slides. Yeah, so not only facilitating the release cycle, but also how you can drive further success from your Oracle applications, and in this instance, from an HCM perspective. We talked about how Evosys has leveraged the latest technologies and created a series of packages across 3 distinct areas, which was RPA, analytics, and chatbot. And with RPA in the 21A session, we spoke about how we could help our customers automate the regression testing that's carried out, for example, for each of the quarterly releases to save time and provide focus on where it is required. And we also looked at how we can save time with automating business processes too. So from an analytics perspective, we spoke about our value-based analytics that can be overlaid on the existing analytics solutions that you may have in place and provides key information around 4 key areas. And these 4 areas are process optimization, system adoption, information output, and audit and compliance. So from a process optimization perspective, looking at how we can help to identify processes that can be optimized or even automated. From a system adoption perspective, where we can help to identify areas and reasons for low adoption rates, for example, and in turn provide recommendations on changes to improve these with the use maybe of other technology. Information output, that's just looking at the information that your teams need, either from a visibility of data or looking at trends. And then finally, from an audit and compliance perspective, looking at regulations and segregation of duties, as well as ensuring compliance with any internal SLAs that you may have in place. And then finally, we spoke about chatbots or digital assistants, as you may know them, and how they can be used to improve the overall user experience. And if you look at, for example, system adoption, we could look at how chatbots and digital assistants can help with identifying ways of improving user interaction and user uptake. So for today, and as a result of the poll in 21A, we're going to cover analytics and specifically our VBA solution. So during the 21A release, I covered the RPA piece, and we will look to cover chatbots in 21C. So what I'm going to ask Arjun to do now for us is to take us through value-based analytics and how they help our customers drive greater efficiencies. So Arjun, can I hand back over to you?
We will be discussing this regarding the value-based analytics. These value-based analytics is giving us some overall and useful insights from our businesses, which can be helpful in decision making and in every decision point. And this VBA, we are having this option for VBA to be deployed at all the modules like global HR, payroll, talent management, recruiting cloud, benefits, time and labor, and security and user adoption as well. We can observe the all the transaction data, some useful information, we can get an insight from data which is running into our HCM system. It may be related to global HR, or it may be related to payroll. We can get much more insights on the data which we have. We can get suppose if we are taking example from global HR point, we can get many metrics. We can do some measures how attrition rate is going and how turnover and retention rates are going, and we can see the adaptability as well, how end users are adopting or using the system, like during the absences or and in many aspect we can have a clear view of our data. And we have deployed these VPA across many customers, and like this is the overall page view of our VPA, like where we can measure system adoption, or we can go through the absence related data VPA, or talent related, payroll related, and global HR related, and learning related. Like I can go through the VBA analytics through the all the modules, like by which we can get a clear information on our data and how things are going.
So as we bring this webinar to a close now, I wanted to thank you all firstly for joining us, and ask if there is any questions that you may have for us that we can answer. Now, at the moment, I can see that actually there are no questions. So Arjun, obviously, thank you very much for providing some clarity on those features. But so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move on to the closing slide, but to give each of you an opportunity to just think about some of the questions that you may have, and I'll come back to this particular slide. So bear with me 1 second. So this is actually in terms of the Evosys 21C advisory sessions. This is the final one in the series. But for each and every one, there will be a recording available for you to have a look at. So if there are any that you may have missed that you'd be interested in, please do let us know, or visit our website, and we can make a recording available to you. I also wanted to draw your attention to a webinar that I'll be hosting on the 4th of May that talks about our next generation managed services specifically for Oracle Cloud applications. Please do visit our website to register, and it will give you all the information you need to know about timings, and also with the agenda itself. So what happens next? We're going to make a presentation and session recording available to you all, just so that you can consume everything that we've spoken about today in your own time. And with that, we're going to provide a feedback form that we'd kindly ask you to fill in for us. These sessions are for you, for our customers, and for prospective customers. So we want you to get the most out of this. So if there are any suggestions that you'd like to make to improve these webinars, please do let us know. And if you want to speak to us about any additional services that you may be interested in, anything that we've covered today that will be of interest, please do let us know. You can either speak to your project manager if you currently have one, or just reach out to us on the email address that you can see in front of you now, which is business@evosysglobal.com. And what I'm going to do now is just go back to the previous slide and cover off any questions. So, Arjun, bear with me 1 second. I'm just going to review some of the questions that are coming in. So, a question from one of our guests: is there any review taking place by Oracle of where employees with multiple assignments cannot submit an open-ended absence on ESS via advanced mode? Is that something you can help answer, Arjun?
Sorry, Chris, can you come again with the question?
Yeah, no problem. So the question was, is there any review taking place by Oracle of where employees that have multiple assignments cannot submit an open-ended absence on ESS via the advanced mode?
No, nothing like that. We can submit that.
So there's nothing to your knowledge.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Okay, there doesn't appear to be any other questions. So finishing slightly ahead of schedule. Thank you very much for everyone who's taken time out to attend today. Please do visit our website to keep updated on some of the webinars that we're going to be hosting in the coming months. And for those of you that enjoy these sessions to get the the insight into Oracle's new releases, I look forward to seeing you again in 3 months' time for the 21C release. Thank you very much and have a good rest of your day.